And writers have an opportunity, certainly, to say what you want to say and say it in such a way that it will last. The truth is you can't ever predict whether anything you write will. I mean, I think I've written about 120 books. Of those, I know half of them will just fade away. I have hopes, real hopes, that maybe 3 or 4 of them will be there in 100 years' time in some guise or other. But so much of that is down to good fortune. You do need someone to develop it theatrically, or to bring out a new edition, or to make a movie of it, or a musical of it, and just keep the interest bubbling. It's the same thing with, even Shakespeare plays. People get tired of them. They want another. They don't necessarily want the same play every year. They want to change it and change it and change it. And what do? They rediscover a Shakespeare play every single time it's performed. They find a director who gives it a new slant and new life. And books need that. They really do need that. So you've got to get lucky. It's certainly not why you write, but I really would love to come back as a ghost and go into some family's house and into a child's bedroom and with all the books along the thing. Because I'm sure there will be books in 100 years' time. A lot of people say they won't, but I'm sure there will be, long after e-books have been forgotten about. There are all these books up there. And I know I'll look along these. And it'll be just like walking into a bookshop now. You look for your own book.
Yeah.
And if you find one, you'll think, my God, that's a sensitive, intelligent child. I shall be a very happy ghost if I find that. One book would do. I'm not going to be fussy.
Do you still find when you go into bookshops and see your name, you do a bit of a cheer and whoop?
No, I get very cross if the books aren't there now. That's a sort of arrogance that's creeping in. It's terrible. If you go in a bookshop and you see J.K. Rowling and you see Philip Pullman and you see Jacqueline Wilson and you look along the M's and you think, there's nothing there, you think, what's their problem? It's complete nonsense. But that you do get to think like that. I'm not going to hide it from you. Coming back to the fame thing, I think there's something which is important to say. And that is, I think that children these days are very much brought up to believe in the importance of 2 things. One is fame and one is money. And I think it's almost incumbent upon all people who are connected with children to dampen that down somehow, and not to somehow excite children around the idea of fame. Excite them about books, of course, and about reading and ideas and stories and poems, but the fame thing is dangerous. It's really dangerous. And they say time after time they want to be rich and they want to be famous. And it's a bit of a disease we've got, I think. So it's worth taking lots of antibiotic to get rid of it.
A lot has talked about how difficult it is to be young today. Do you think it's harder to grow up in today's society?
Much harder, unquestionably. I think, I would say, one of my grandchildren's in the room, I better be careful, but I think I would be right to say, and I don't think I'd be exaggerating to say it, I think my grandchildren, by the time they got to the age of 10, knew more about the adult world than I did by the time I was 20. Well, how come? Well, obviously it's because of what they drink in from the televisions and all the communication facilities they've got now with that, and the fact that adults have given up really on, and I understand why, on, if you like, protecting children from that world, because they can't. I mean, effectively, that television's in the corner of the room, and it's showing you, if you take a soap, just a soap, not a post after 9 o'clock stuff, just take a regular soap, EastEnders or whatever. You are into what? You're certainly into murder, quite often. You're into family breakdown, always. You're into adultery, hugely. A lot of sex, quite a bit of violence, a lot of threat. All that is there. Now, children of 3, 4, 5, and 6 are soaking that sort of stuff in, getting to know that the adult world has got these difficulties, these problems, and maybe they're at home as well. I never had that. I had a radio, or you played out. And on the radio, it was Listen with Mother. And it might have been a children's detective story, Emmy and the Detectives, dramatised or something. So what it did, it very deliberately tried to protect you. The whole thing was a protecting thing against what was out there. And then you had to get to know that later. And I think getting to know that as a young child, getting accustomed to the difficulties and complexities of the adult world, causes enormous pressures, huge pressures on children. And it doesn't allow them to grow up slowly. I think they're very, very soon becoming, very small girls are becoming little women. Young boys who want to beckon now, they kind of want to do it quickly. And that's it's a shame because they do miss out on quite a bit of slow growing.
Okay.
The strongest trees, I'd say, grow slowly.
Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions I've got for today. I was wondering, how do you want me to introduce you before your talk?
If you like.
I'm doing that.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can both do it if you like. I don't know. I mean, I just don't mind, honestly. I think it's really important, I think, not to say winner of this prize, winner of that prize. I'm a storyteller. It's what I do.
Storyteller.
It's what Shakespeare did too. If you're introducing him, I think you'd introduce him as the greatest storyteller that ever lived. I'm a storyteller. I'm really happy to do that. So introduce me as you like. I don't mind.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very
Pleasure.
much.
Thank you for the interview. Might I introduce you to the